but I bet I could recommend action movies that you would like. Like, have you ever seen The Mechanic with Charles Bronson?
No.
I hadn't seen it until about a year ago. It's fucking awesome. And
Okay.
it's not like typical action. It's almost like it's very slow paced. It's very 70s. They made a remake that I started watching with Jason
Jason
Statham,
Statham, right?
which is
Okay.
unwatchable. It's so bad. Like literally every 5 seconds, there's a cut. There's a cut. There's a cut. Meanwhile,
Oh, I
the
hate
original
movies
one
like
just
that.
like these great long takes, and it's there's not actually that much action, but it's a very good movie. Anyway, we could get into.
Well, I'm going to splice that. That's how we're going to start. We're going to start talking about The Mechanic, and then I'm going to do the intro music and stuff because I like that. That was
Okay,
good.
but The Mechanic's not on this list.
I know, that's okay. Last week, High Rise wasn't on my list either, but that's how we
Okay.
started.
All right, cool. So my first pick is National Treasure, starring Nicolas Cage, which is on Netflix. And that movie came out around the same time as The Da Vinci Code, which I thought was terrible. But I saw National Treasure, and it was everything the Da Vinci Code should have been.
I agree with that. National Treasure was a good,
treasure.
yeah, it was a national treasure, but it was a good like action ride.
Cool.
So I agree. That's a great pick. Okay, so my first pick. Okay, so to watch this one, you're gonna have to get the 14-day Criterion Channel free membership, and thank me later because it's the best thing that ever happened to me. But there's a movie on there called Paris Blues, and it's directed by Martin Ritt, and it's from like 1962 with Paul Newman and Sidney Poitier, Diane Carroll, and Joanne Woodward. And it's about Jasmine in Paris, and there's a love story. It's kind of a bleak movie, but it's got some great music, and Louis Armstrong makes a cameo in it. So I highly recommend it. Get the 14-day membership for Criterion Channel and watch Paris Blues.
It sounds fantastic.
It is great. It's great. It's like one of the almost new Hollywood movies because there's lots of issues that it touches on, like, well, jazz and race and racial politics of America versus the racial politics in France. It's really, really good.
Excellent. My next pick is, I guess it's like a dramedy from England, Billy Elliot, which is on Showtime. And that movie is very heartwarming and fun and just lovely overall.
It is. It's a sweet movie. It's really good. My mom loves that movie.
And I think, it was a Tony Award winning musical
Mm-hmm.
after the movie came out.
And that's one of the examples of like a good transition from screen to stage, because sometimes they're crap, and this one was really good.
Nice.
My next pick is on Hulu, and it's kind of an out there pick. So if you want sort of a avant-garde, different film, that might not be for everyone. It's called Sorry to Bother You, and it's set in this alternate reality of current day Oakland, California. And the less I say about the movie, probably the better off you are, because it's so out there that if I start describing it, it'll probably turn off anybody who's thinking about watching it.
Excellent. My next pick is Smokey and the Bandit on Starz, starring Burt Reynolds and Sally Field. And I'd never seen this movie up until about a year or two ago. I just kind of knew about it because it's one of those movies that's out there in the zeitgeist, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really funny action driving car chase movie with Burt Reynolds like at his best, and Sally Field does a great job as well. And it's about there's all sorts of references to the trucker life and the trucker code. It's a very simple story, but a whole lot of fun to watch.
I've actually never seen Smokey and the Bandit either, so I might check that out if I have time. Oh wait, I've got nothing but time. My next pick is on Netflix, and it's a limited series called Alias Grace, and it's based on the book by Margaret Atwood. And it tells the true story of Grace Marks, a convicted murderer, and her 1843 crime that shook Canada. And I don't feel like it got enough love or attention when it came out. I think it came out in 2017. So I highly recommend checking it out. It's like 6 episodes.
My next pick is called Permanent Midnight, and it stars Ben Stiller. It's on Tubi. It's about a television writer who, as he becomes more successful, his heroin habit also grows worse. And it's kind of a weird movie because there's some parts that are extremely funny in it, but some parts that are very dark and very sad. And I think it's based on a true story, but I need to double check that.
Okay, my next pick is based on a true story, and it's also dark, and it's called Legend, and it's from 2015, and it stars Tom Hardy, and he plays the notorious London gangsters Ronnie and Reggie Cray, the Cray brothers. So the crime part of this movie is so-so, but Tom Hardy playing twins is what everybody needs to see because it's great, and it's on Netflix.
Yeah, that does sound like a good role for Tom Hardy, playing two Tom Hardys. Cool. Yeah, I've been meaning to watch that. My next film is a horror film called VHS, and that's V/H/S, and it's on Crackle. And the interesting thing about this one is it's a bunch of different horror shorts made by various directors, which is nice because if you don't want to sit through a whole horror film, you kind of get 4 or 5 short horror films in one. And I think I liked all of the stories for various reasons. None of them disappointed me, and they were all pretty scary. So check them out.
My next pick is a classic, and it's Sunset Boulevard. It's on Prime. It's a Billy Wilder 1950 tale of Hollywood and writers in Hollywood and sort of the cynicism of movie making. It stars William Holden and Gloria Swanson in an epic turn as the faded silent film star who is ready for her close-up.
I've read that screenplay, never seen the movie.
I think you would enjoy the movie. I mean, it's dark, it's cynical, but it's funny and campy as well. Yeah, it's great. You should check that one out.
My next pick is a foreign thriller called Headhunters on Crackle. It's based on a Joe Nesbo novel. And if you don't know who Joe Nesbo is, he's a worldwide best-selling author of thrillers and mysteries. I think he's from Norway. And I'm not going to say anything about this movie except it's really suspenseful and it's well made, and it features Jamie Lannister in his native tongue.
Oh, interesting. I'm going to suggest a movie based on a Stephen King short story called 1922, and it's on Netflix. And I also feel like this one and Gerald's Game, so I'm just going to throw these two together, which is also on Netflix, kind of went under the radar a couple years ago. So I think if you like Stephen King and want quality adaptations of his work, both Gerald's Game and 1922 are great choices.
My next choice is Rounders, which is on Netflix, and that stars Matt Damon, Edward Norton, and John Malkovich, and it's about high-stakes underground poker, amongst other things.
Yeah, I remember that movie. I'm going to pick a documentary. I love watching documentaries, and this one is also on Netflix. It's called Who Killed Malcolm X, and it's from this year, and I highly suggest everyone check it out because it actually kind of solves the mystery of who killed Malcolm X. So 6 episodes, and I sat and watched them all in one sitting, and that's how intriguing it is.
My next pick is Club Paradise on Starz, which stars Robin Williams and Peter O'Toole. And it's a comedy about a retired firefighter who teams up with a reggae singer to open up a tropical island resort.
Oh, that sounds fun, actually.
Yeah, the reviews aren't great, but I thought it was an enjoyable film.
Yeah, that Peter O'Toole, that sounds good.
Yeah.
All my picks up until this point have been kind of heavy, so I'm going to pick a light comedy. It's actually one that we talked about before we started putting shows on the interwebs, and it's Girls Just Want to Have Fun with Sarah Jessica Parker and Helen Hunt, and it's available on Hulu, Prime, and Tubi, so you have your pick of where you want to have your fun.
And my next pick is called Solitary Man. It's on Tubi. It stars Michael Douglas and Susan Sarandon, and it's basically about a middle-aged guy, or like late middle-aged guy, sort of going through a middle-age crisis. And it's a comedy, it's a drama. It's a good film.
Okay. And my last pick is going to be the series Watchmen on HBO. I don't know if people have seen it. I watched it. I thought it was amazing. I feel like more people should watch it because it's from Damon Lindelof, who did Lost and The Leftovers. So if you enjoy both of those, I think you're going to love how he revisits some of those same themes in Watchmen.
Since I haven't selected, I don't think I've selected any shows thus far. I'm going to pick Rita, which is on Netflix. And it's a Danish show about a, conflicted teacher. I don't know how else to describe her, who's very good with her kids in the classroom, but has a terrible home life and relationship with her kids at home. I have to say, I only watched the first season, and I liked it a lot. Then I never picked up after that, but it's 4 seasons, and I can definitely recommend the first one. Thanks for listening, and we hope these quarantine picks will distract you from the quarantine.
So we will see you next week with our regularly scheduled episode of 2 for the Matinee.
Stay safe, everyone.